Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Sadlier School Live. My name is Kimberly Woods, and I'm pleased to be bringing back Vocab Gal, aka Sarah Wrestler, right? Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Kimberly.
Thanks for being here today, and I am excited for us to dive into today's topic. But before we do, I want to remind any of you who are watching today's live that you can click on that video and the chat will pull up, and we would love to receive a comment from you. So drop a line, say hello so we can connect. And any of the resources that we're talking about on today's live, I will be sure to link to in the comments here on Facebook. So if you're interested in grabbing any of those resources, check out the comments there. Now, Sarah, today's topic particularly intrigued me because this is about reading and a lesson that we can use at home with our kids. And I know that reading is one of the areas that I feel like I really need to work on with my students, or not my students, but my children, so that they don't fall behind. And I love these little activities we're going to be walking through today. So I'm going to turn it over to you so you can kind of walk us through the benefits of using the interactive read alouds at home and how we go about finding the one that fits our kids the best.
Thanks, Kimberly. I know that you and I both have girls similar ages, and so this is really helpful in terms of just great, quick ways to practice reading. And I know that I enjoy doing so with my daughter. She is a special reading teacher, so shout out to Marta, that we have a really good time going through every day. She has a quick reading and some questions to answer. And we could print them out, but we just do it on the screen. So we use our fingers and we go through and then we answer the questions, and it's great. And so I am really excited to share more. This whole bundle has a ton of just one-page read and respond ideas. So what is an interactive read aloud is obviously the first question. And so it's really where students are reading, but it's interactive with another adult. We're talking with them, we're asking questions, and it's not simply, again, this where a caregiver of some kind reads a book. That's not it. It's that we're really thinking through questions. It expands some vocabulary. It's that love of reading because we're doing it together. And it's really about an opportunity to share favorite books with each other. So I know that I am not a reading teacher. I am trained high school. And so I need to make sure I know what I'm doing here. And so it's about, I love that we have some tips here. The meaningful and engaging text, that we preview the text ahead of time, that we have some questions that we ask. And always it's going back to the Bloom's taxonomy. And I also really like the depth of knowledge questions as a new way to look at Bloom's. It's a kind of slightly different model. And then this idea that, like really in the high school level too, we're always sort of previewing a text, that we're not just going to throw Shakespeare at them without giving them some background. Same thing here, even though these are small texts that we can ask some beforehand questions. What do we know about baseball or about family dynamics? And then remember, it's about books that you enjoy. And so I know that I love when I get to share favorites with my own children that we're bringing back. And so here we've tried to pull ones that are really quite a lot of fun. So that's what you want to do ahead of time. And the nice thing is we've pulled some, but then obviously you've got texts at home that you love. Project Gutenberg also has a lot of great independent texts that are free on the internet. And so if you're looking for a classic that you want to share with your child at home or with your students, Project Gutenberg is another good place to get free text that I forgot to mention earlier.
Sarah, also another thing that you mentioned that I thought was, a key thing to point out to our viewers is that these downloads don't even necessarily need to be printed. If you are trying to cut back on your printing, or maybe you've run out of a ream of paper or your printer ink, you can just simply download these, pull them up, scroll through them and point to things and read from them like you mentioned. So I love that aspect of it too.
Yeah. And then here, this first one, The Miracle Mud, great baseball story. I just love, again, we were talking that there's not a lot of Major League Baseball happening right now.
Yeah. You can have your own little fun homage, right?
Thank you for saying homage. Yes.
To baseball.
To baseball. And again, just beautiful, beautiful texts that we have pulled that are really meaningful, and you can have a great conversation with your students at home with that are meaningful texts. These are not shallow, but really have some depth to them. Patricia Polacco, I know that people love. She is a kindred favorite. And so this is really kind of from her first picture book, which is pretty remarkable because she is quite prolific in her beloved picture books. And again, we have another Patricia Polacco, and then some other ones. So, and then really, I mean, Jacqueline Woodson, The Other Side is one of my very favorite picture books from her. And if you have the actual picture book, you can certainly read through the text with the pictures. And we have a whole lot that goes along with each of these great interactive read alouds.
Yeah. I really am thinking ahead too right now to summer, even though it feels like we've kind of been on summer break being at home so much. But I'm thinking forward to summer break and the activities I can do with my kids to prevent any slide in their learning and in their education. And I think these are also great to incorporate, you know, a couple times a week into your schedule throughout the summer, and it will give you guys something to do and to talk about. Again, you can integrate the vocabulary, like you mentioned, by simply stopping on words that may be unfamiliar or new. And I love it. So I think this is a great post, and we wanted to share this with all of you here today. I'll be linking to it in the comments, like we mentioned earlier. And Sarah, I think you had a few other ideas for books or resources people could use to do interactive read alouds.
I do. And again, I'm both excited and dreading summer, because the nice thing right now is that my own students' teachers are creating content for my students to learn at home. And then as May ends, it is going to be me creating content for my own children to continue learning. And so these are really, really magnificent read alouds. There's the depth and the complexity, and there's some activities that go along with it. And again, just doing the activity as a dialogue discussion is all that you need to do. And I think that creates less anxiety for both of you, that you don't have to force a child to do a worksheet, but at the same time, you're using that worksheet to pull those questions, because it can be very hard to figure out what questions to ask for each text. And so that's what's great about all of these interactive read alouds, is there's already built-in discussion for you, and you can feel really strongly that you're doing your best to be a great reading teacher, which I know that Kimberly, you and I are not by nature. So
exactly. And I'm with you. I love how, again, this doesn't feel too heavy for me to do with my own kids. It's something I could just even pull up on a tablet very easily, and we can scroll through, and just like you said, have a dialogue, stop, ask questions, you know, try to think of like the things your kids might not know in terms of vocabulary words, because sometimes we assume they know a word, right? But then when I stop and check for that understanding, I realize, oh no, we need to have a discussion about this word. So I just encourage, like, ask as many questions as you can, and it will really help you and your kids. And we hope this makes it easy for all of you.
Absolutely.
Sarah, thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate it. And I'm excited to have you on next week. And we're talking about bringing on a special guest with you. So that'll be fun. So you'll all have to tune in next week to see what's happening. And I will be back here on Facebook Live tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. or Eastern Time, 12 o'clock Pacific, with Ellen Edmonds. And we'd love to have you all back then. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks. Take care, Kimberly.
Bye.